Like it was painful. Like the first round was painful, but it was pleasurable. Like bekumnandi. It was so good. It was so good. So it went on and on and on. So just as I was about to start recording this video, these girls woke up. They woke up.
I'm gonna clear, baby.
Yeah?
Hello.
Aibo, utrang babe. Nyakumutala. Nyakumutala la baby. Nyakumutala, nyakumutala.
Baby. Shop baby.
How do I hi guys? Khale o nyakutra hi guys. Bye Use. No, don't come back. Bye Use.
Come.
Don't come. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to my channel if you're new here. So today's video is going to be a video that I thought I would have posted when I was 6 weeks postpartum, but that clearly didn't happen because I'm currently 10 weeks postpartum, and I had done my makeup earlier in the week thinking that I'm going to record this video, but I for some reason fell ill just after doing my makeup. So here I am today trying again with this video. So I'm basically just going to be talking about my birth story, my birth experience, things that weren't actually shown in, things that I didn't really show in my birth vlog, and I'm just going to be talking about my C-section recovery. I had my second C-section with Jojo, and I'm going to be talking about my postpartum body, sex after a baby, breastfeeding. Yeah, I think that's basically the things that I'm going to be talking about in today's video. So give this video a huge thumbs up, leave me a comment, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to share this video with someone who might find it useful. Okay, so if you haven't watched the videos where I spoke about my pregnancy, or rather the birth of Use, I had an emergency, well, it wasn't really an emergency C-section. I was induced and I had contractions that weren't leading to anything. So after 12 hours of those contractions, I told my gynae that, you know what, time out. Time out, get this baby out, because my cervix wasn't ripening, it wasn't softening, and basically nothing was happening. So I ended up having a C-section. And if you had watched my birth vlog with Utlojo, my husband was actually very traumatized because with my first C-section, I went in and out of consciousness. I had low blood pressure problems, so I went in and out of consciousness, and yeah, I basically don't remember anything. That I don't remember much, but luckily, because my husband was recording the whole thing that everything that happened, that's how I got to see, oh, this is what happened, and relive those memories. So basically, my first C-section, I was yeah, in and out of consciousness, and it was a very traumatic experience for my husband. But then again, the recovery wasn't really bad, because you are told, if you haven't had a C-section, you are told, oh, a C-section, the pain, the this, the that. So I was actually surprised that, you know what, this is painful, but it's not as painful as I thought it would be, because already within a week I had gone to a wedding. Yeah, when Usa was 8 days old, I went to a wedding. So maybe ndithanda izinto, or I have a high pain tolerance, but yeah, it's really not that bad. So my second C-section now with Jojo, yeah, wow. So the anesthesiologist, the doctor that gives you a spinal block and basically any other medication that you might need during the surgery through a drip, wow, she did a really great job. She actually was pleading with me before the surgery that she feels more comfortable just giving me a general anesthetic so that I basically die, because of my low blood pressure problems and the fact that I'm asthmatic. So she explained to me that basically with patients like that, it's better to put them to sleep so that I don't have the issues that I had with my first C-section. So I was like, no, I want to see my baby being born. I basically want to experience everything, because with my first birth, or rather my first C-section, I didn't really get to fully be in the moment, because even when they gave me my baby, like, I was out of it, guys. I was literally, I was really, really out of it. So I think that's basically what traumatized me about my first C-section as well. It wasn't really the pain or anything like that. It was just the fact that I was in and out of consciousness, and I didn't really get to, like, live in the moment. Yes? Okay, bye. So Usa is actually right there. I can see her. So she basically, the anesthesiologist was like, let's put you to sleep, and I was like, no. No. Okay, so basically she tried by all means to, like, keep me awake throughout the surgery, because when I actually slept on my back, you obviously need to sleep on your back so that they can operate on you and get the baby out. And I started struggling to breathe, which got her really worried. But they then gave me oxygen through the nose, and I think I was fine because I was awake throughout the surgery, and my gynae and his gynae friend were talking about, well, yeah, they are friends, and from their conversation they go to the same church, because they were talking about their cell group, and about someone who was dancing up a stone at church. So yeah, I think, this my second C-section was a completely different experience to my first C-section. I was awake throughout the experience, but my husband was, like, very traumatized this time around. He didn't even take footage of, because with Usa's birth, he was recording him and I, like, when the surgery was taking place. But this time around, and then stress me and mom, guys, I think he was just praying. And he was also talking to the anesthesiologist, because the anesthesiologist was laughing at a conversation that we were having prior going into theater. So, like, energy nje, a light in the room. So yeah, and and I could actually see everything that was being done. They opened guys in Zautin, they opened a curtain or something. I don't know, they opened something, but I could basically see everything that they were doing. I could see them cut into the layers of my skin. And the nice thing is that they were playing really, really nice music in the theater. My doctor is Christian. My husband and I actually did want to have a Christian doctor. Well, we would have liked to have a Christian doctor, and the good thing is that our doctor was Christian. But anyway, they were playing really nice music at theater. They were playing, when I was being cut open, they were playing ingoma that Use absolutely loves. Lebusa Khobela's, what's the name of that song? I don't know, but Hallelujah to Miseni. Yeah, I think Miseni. So Use is obsessed with that song, and if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen her in my stories, because I do post her on my stories when we do listen to that song. Like, it touches her. She's obsessed with that song. So when I was being cut, that song was playing, and I felt like, oh, Umdanam is here with us as well. Umdanam, I mean Use. So I felt like, okay, it's my husband, it's me, Use in spirit, and now Klojo. So that was a very special moment for me. And it was just a very special moment. I think I had a beautiful birth experience this time around. It was just a very beautiful birth experience. and I saw my baby come out, and she was so tiny and she was screaming her lungs out. So yeah, I had a pretty good birth experience, and I'm actually glad I did have my C-section when I did have it, because soon after that the pandemic, well, the outbreak got out of hand, and I think there were stricter restrictions in the hospital. So I'm really glad that I had my C-section when I did, and I didn't have to like be going to doctor's appointments alone, because my husband is not allowed to go into the hospital and all of that. So yeah, basically I wouldn't have had it any other way, basically, because I wanted to try for a VBAC, but I didn't have a problem with having a repeat C-section. I just didn't want to have an elective C-section. I wanted to try for a vaginal birth, and then if the need arise that I needed a C-section, then I was okay with that. But I didn't want to, like, have a repeat C-section, and the only reason was because Usa, guys, is very active. I'm sure you guys know by now. Usa is wild, so I didn't want to have a C-section because I have a wild 2-year-old and a newborn, and now I need to be nursing my C-section. So that's the only reason why I didn't want to have a repeat C-section. But really, my recovery wasn't bad. I think, I don't know. I think I think going forward, I think I'm going to have C-sections. I think I'm going to have C-sections. It's not bad, honestly. It's really not that deep. It's really not that bad. Unless, I don't know, I've got a high pain tolerance. Maybe. So that song actually played when they were getting her out of my stomach. Like, it was just a beautiful experience, honestly. It was beautiful experience, beautiful atmosphere. They were playing all of it's as if they knew that the songs that were playing in the theater like would speak to me. It's songs that I liked. So basically this is the song that was playing when Tlojo was being taken out of my stomach or uterus or what, I don't know, from my stomach. So yeah. So when you've had a C-section, they normally take your baby out. Well, I don't know if it differs from hospital to hospital, but they take your baby out. And then the nurse, or is it the midwife? I think it's the nurse. And the pediatrician takes the baby, they check the baby for the vital signs, and they weigh your baby and all of that. And then once that is done, my baby was given back to me for skin to skin. Basically, the baby was taken out, showed to me, oh, here's your baby. Oh. And then the baby is taken away for all of those things. Whereas I think if you've had a vaginal birth, your baby stays with you. Basically, I think you've got the option of delayed cord clamping, but so my baby was taken away, and after all of that, which isn't really long, my baby was brought back to me for skin to skin, and Jojo stayed with me. Untadameps went to the maternity ward, to my room, to wait for me there, and they sewed me up, and basically I think it's like a 30-minute thing. 30 minutes, your baby's in and out, and you are now going to the maternity ward or to your room or whatever. So it was a quick in and out. I didn't have any problems. I just had difficulty breathing, but the oxygen mask that they gave me helped a lot. And then and obviously, because you were under a spinal block, you're under a spinal block, you won't be feeling pain. And once I was at my I'll just say, once I was at my room now at the maternity ward, I was given a morphine drip to like click on, I think every 10 minutes, but it would also signal me or alert me that okay, you can now press. So I was pressing that. You need to stay on top of your pain medications. You don't want to be feeling any pain when you've had a C-section. So I think yeah, if you stay on top of your medication, then on top of your pain medication, you shouldn't have any problems. Now my problem was that okay, I had my surgery done, I think at 10. Yeah, at 10. So I was told not to eat like for 12 hours. So I was supposed to stop eating like at 10 the previous night, but I stopped eating at 6, and it wasn't even, I think I had a streetwise too. I played myself. So I was so hungry, guys. I was so hungry. And the first day after your surgery, you can't be eating heavy food. So I was brought, I think, 2 slices of bread and a soup that wasn't nice at all, and jelly, and I think juice. So yeah, I was mad because I was hungry. I was mad. Yeah, and then what else happened? Basically, you need to stay on top of your pain medication. And then I was given injections. I was being given injections twice a day for this thing, anti-clotting medication. This thing is terrible, guys. Like ear cheese, like when they injected ear cheese and it leaves bruises. So like my thighs were bruised, and I had to still inject myself in even when I was home. I came home with my mom, and she was here until Jojo went to her first pediatrician appointment. Then we took her back home because my mom lives in Pretoria, and our hospital is in Pretoria. So my mom was here for like a week, and it was so great when she was here because she was doing everything basically yomdana. And why is my sister video calling me? Yeah, so basically my mom was doing everything. Yeah, but she was bathing Use. She was taking care of Jojo, bathing Use. All I did was to breastfeed and cook. Yeah, basically to breastfeed and cook. So when she left, yeah, now I had to do everything by myself. Well, my husband was here, obviously. And then, yeah, I spoke about this. This thing was terrible, guys. I had bruises on my thighs, and like it burns when it burns. Basically it burns. It was terrible. So, and this time around as well, I didn't have any issues with breastfeeding. My milk came out immediately, and I didn't even have problems with sore nipples. Well, with Use, my nipples weren't really that bad. I used Bepanthen bum cream on my nipples probably for like 2 days. They weren't really that bad. They didn't hurt. I had a really good breastfeeding experience with Use and even with Jojo. And I think with Jojo, my nipples had been used to being sucked already, so it was just an easy thing. So yeah, I breastfed and everything was just fine. Jojo, I think, was just a bit lazy, but yeah, everything was fine. And then what did and I had a lot of milk. Like I had too much milk. Jojo couldn't keep up with my milk supply. I think it's like from week 2, the second week, where now my milk started to like to settle, and like my body was producing what Jojo needed. And in order to increase your milk supply, guys, you need to eat. You need to drink a lot of water and tea. I think rooibos tea helps as well with milk supply. And also, why is my torch on? You need to eat, and oats as well helps. And the most important thing though is to feed your baby as much as possible, because feeding your baby as much as possible, well, it's a supply and demand thing. So once you feed, you are telling your body to supply. So breastfeed as much as possible in order to tell your body to produce milk. And then breastfed babies okay, breast milk is digested quicker than formula milk. So obviously breastfed babies need to be fed more often than formula fed babies. So if your family members are telling you that your baby isn't getting full because your baby wants to feed often, that is not true. As long as your baby has enough wet diapers and what is it, number 2, or actually wet diapers, because not exclusively breastfed babies don't pass number 2, like well, some of them could go like 7 days without passing stools, which is normal. So as long as your baby has enough wet nappies and your baby seems happy, then your baby is getting enough milk. It's just that because breast milk is digested quicker than formula, your baby is going to want to be fed more often than a formula fed baby. So yeah, basically okay, I think I'm all over the show, but I hope you guys are following what I'm saying. So basically, guys, I kept up with my pain medication. Take your medication when they tell you to take your medication. Don't wait to feel pain, because you are just setting yourself up for a disaster. I actually did do a video on the tips for C-section recovery, so you can check that video out. It's an in-depth video, yeah, where I spoke about my C-section recovery. And this time around, I didn't have painful gas. With my first C-section, I had painful gas. My stomach was actually huge from the gas that I had. I had like cramps from the gas, so I didn't have any of that this time around, and my stomach went down quite quickly. Within like the first week of being home, my stomach had already gone down. Well, I didn't have a flat stomach, but it had gone down, and yeah, it had gone down. I didn't have problems with gas. Also, another important thing is to get stool softeners, or I think they do give you stool softeners though at the hospital, but make sure that you are using stool softeners, because the first couple of times that you do a number 2, it's going to be difficult, and you don't want to be straining because that's going to hurt your incision. So make sure that you are getting enough fiber, enough water, and you don't have problems with constipation. So guys, I had a traumatic experience. I had an abscess, itumba, a boil, like on my vagina. How am I, like here, like this is the vagina, right? Like here, like where it pain to, because I was wearing granny panties, obviously, like here where it pain to, and I didn't understand. Firstly, I thought, like, what's going on, Galipend? Is it too small, or is it too tight, or what? Only to find that I had an abscess. Like, that was terrible, guys. Imagine I'm dealing with the C-section, and now I've got an abscess. So that wasn't nice at all. So basically, and also did jump on me like I had predicted that she would. But my gynae says she helped me to heal, I guess. And I know they say you aren't supposed to pick up anything heavier than your newborn for the first 6 weeks, but I was picking up also because my child is used to being picked up or carried by mommy, and I can't now stop because I've got a new baby. So my gynae says that helped as well. And another thing, guys, she's so compassionate. She sees, man, when mommy is not okay, so she would pray for me. She would put her hands on my belly. Well, she would also see when her dad is like cleaning my or applying the cream, the antibiotic cream that they give you at the hospital. She would see where her dad is applying it, so she would see, oh, here's the problem, this is where mommy's hurting. So she would pray for me. And she would say, but oh, actually my mom isn't okay, so I need to pray for her. And she would tell me that, oh, I'm sorry, and you know, all of that. So an important thing for your recovery is to start walking immediately. Like, start walking, because you are going to recover quickly. quickly when you walk as soon as possible. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Just take your pain medication and walk. Take your pain medication and walk. And by walking, I don't mean you need to like walk for 30 minutes or no, just walk, like maybe walk from the bathroom to the kitchen or whatever. So now, okay, I was discharged from hospital on the 3rd day of my C-section, and on the 4th day, I actually went to the mall because I needed to get, no, I didn't need to get anything. I think I just wanted some fresh air. So I left the kids with my mom and I went to the mall. Yeah, I went to the mall and I shopped. I was 4 days postpartum and I went to the mall and shopped. I was gone maybe for like 3 hours and I was fine. I was fine. Also, my mom, because she's old school, she believes in ubopha isisu, in tying your stomach so that the womb can go back to its place. I was tying my belly. I started on the 4th day when I came back from hospital. My mom was tying my belly with a towel, like not even hard, just not like even tight, just with a towel to like support my stomach and to help my uterus to contract back to its normal size. And tying with the towel as well, I think it helps with the pain because like you are like compressing your stomach a bit, but she wasn't really tying the towel tightly. So I did that until my mom left, and then I wasn't consistent. And after my mom left, because the moms couldn't really tie my belly with the towel, I was just using a belt. Let me fetch the belt. Yeah, I got this from Verimark when I was postpartum with Use. So when my mom left as well, then I started using this. But I wouldn't like tie it. Yes, I wouldn't tie it tightly to like hurt myself or anything like that. I was just tying it to like support my stomach and to help my uterus contract. So basically that's what I was doing, but I wasn't really consistent, and my mom would send me a WhatsApp text to remind me to tie my belly, and yeah, I just wasn't really consistent. So basically guys, you need to walk, take stool softeners, be on top of your medication. But I did do a video, yeah, so I think if you want more information you can watch that video. And then when I was like 3 weeks postpartum, I started feeling like a very bad pain on one side of my stomach, ne? And then I actually realized that it was because I was constipated, because once my husband went to buy stool softeners and I took those stool softeners, the pain immediately went away. So I had a pain that was caused by constipation. So again, make sure that you are regular. I've got constipation problems anyway. I've got chronic constipation, I would say. So yeah, basically. What else do I want to say in this video? It's so weird how I had stretch marks on my belly because of Use, and it was the dark purplish stretch marks. But now with Utlo, like, let me show you guys my stomach. Now they are like a lighter color. I don't know if it's because the stretch marks are now so with Use I had like these dark stretch marks, but now I think it's because my stomach stretched again. I've got like they are this silvery light color. They are no longer the dark stretch marks that I had, and this is how my stomach is looking 10 weeks. And yes, I'm wearing my pajama pants. So with Use, my neck, my armpits, my boobs, my stomach, everything was like very, very dark. I think that didn't really, well, it did happen the second pregnancy as well, but my stomach wasn't dark. Like my neck, my armpits, and all these other places were dark, but my stomach didn't get dark at all, which was just strange. And my stretch marks, I think because they are old, because once stretch marks form, they are purple, and once they are old, they are this silvery color that I just showed now. So I've got these stretch marks on my stomach, which I'm not really bothered by. I think in my postpartum body, the thing that really stresses me out is that my boobs are no longer as perky as they were. They are no longer amabele ejiji. So when I've got the money to, I'm actually going to get my boobs done and maybe get a tummy tuck. Who knows? So yeah, I think. Oh, and in terms of Use is responding well to the baby. She's still obsessed with the baby. The only problem is that I don't know if it has to do with the terrible twos, but Use, guys, doesn't listen. Hey, Use is so naughty. She's so naughty. And when you say no to her, it's like you are saying yes. It's like you are adding fuel to a fire. So I think that's the only problem that we have. And I wouldn't really say she's been jealous of the baby. Yeah, I wouldn't really say she's been jealous of the baby, because when it was just her alone, I would like cuddle her to sleep and all of those things, which she still expects me to do even now. So if I'm cuddling the baby to sleep, she also wants to be cuddled to sleep because I'm used to cuddling her to sleep. So it's those type of things, and I don't really think it's because she's being jealous. It's just because it's what she's used to, and she's still very young. She's still a baby, so she still wants to be babied. So someone else might say she's being jealous, but in my opinion, I don't think that's the case. She just wants to be babied like she was babied before the baby was born. I hope I'm making sense. And then yeah, I spoke about breastfeeding, I spoke about my birth, I spoke about my C-section recovery, and then in terms of contraceptives, I was using in, I think 2016, late 2015 and 2016, I was using contraceptives that I was getting at work at clinic, Trifacil. It's the ones that you get from a government clinic. So those are the contraceptives I was using. And then in 2017 January, I stopped using them because I was going to get married in August. So I decided to stop using contraceptives because my husband and I knew that we wanted a baby immediately. We wanted to try for a baby immediately after getting married. So what had happened was that there's a video actually we did about the whole pregnancy and how we felt pregnant and all of that. So we were taking contraceptives because we were obviously fornicating, we were having sex, but we weren't married. So that's why we needed to take contraceptives, because we weren't trying to make a baby. So what had happened is that in April 2017, when we were so yeah, I think I took contraceptives for like a year and a half, 2015, 2016. In 2017, April, our wedding was in August. In April, when we were going through premarital counseling, they gave us the advice about, okay, we should abstain, and we will be better at praying, and just to abstain. So my then fiance and I were like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, we should abstain. This was at the end of April 2017. Yeah, we should abstain, ne? And yes, we did abstain for like 3 weeks or like 4 weeks. How Gandu girl? We had that counseling session on a Sunday. Gandu girl on the Wednesday. In that same week, Gandu girl meeting. And how it happened, I obviously wasn't taking contraceptives, and our method of contraception at the time was the calendar, or your cycle. I would check my cycle on my app Flow, and then when I was ovulating, we wouldn't have sex. So my then fiance seduced me when I was ovulating, and we had sex. And the day after, I took morning after pills because I was introduced to them. But the people who introduced me to them forgot to tell me that as sebenzi when you are ovulating. So basically, Use is a morning after product because the pills didn't work because I was ovulating, but I didn't know that then. So we took the decision to abstain, and there's already a baby. So yeah, that's how Use happened. So I was 4 months pregnant actually when we got married. And then okay, after Use, my gynae suggested microval contraceptives because they've got they don't really have much side effects. Oh, and when I was on Trifasol, the only side effect I experienced was vaginal dryness. I didn't gain any weight, I didn't have any skin problems, I didn't have any mood problems. The only issue I had was vaginal dryness, which you can obviously use lubricant for. So that was the only problem I had while on Trifasol. And then okay, my gynae now suggested that I start using microval, and I took microval because they will give you prescription 6 months. I took it for like maybe 4 months, and I was like, why why what's the reason? So I stopped, and I was just breastfeeding exclusively, and I used that as my method of contraception. And I knew that in 2019, like around April 2019, we wanted to try for another baby for 2020 because we wanted our kids to be 2 years apart. So I was like, no man, what's the point? Like, if I fall pregnant, then it will be what God wants for me. So right now, I'm not currently on any contraceptives. If God wants me to have another baby, then I will gladly accept. But yeah, I'm not currently taking contraceptives because it's just too much effort. I need to remember to take pills. No, I don't want to. I honestly don't want to. My gynae pleaded with me, and I was like, I'm not doing this. He gave me a prescription, which I think I've lost. So I'm currently not taking any contraceptives. And when I was pregnant with Utlojo, I thought I wanted Tlojo to be my last born. But then in my second trimester, they thought I had placenta accreta, and when you've got placenta accreta, you might need a hysterectomy. That's when they remove your womb, ne? So that experience was just scary and traumatic. So it made me realize that actually I do want more children. So yes, I do want more kids, maybe 1 more or 2 more. And if you watch Generations, relationship kampono no Gaddafi kumkan has my husband wanting a son. So we aren't really gender specific, we don't really care much about the gender, but that relationship has my husband wanting a son. So yeah, I think I do want maybe 2 more kids, but it will all depend on, I don't know, maybe our financial situation, but we'll obviously need a bigger house if we want to have more kids than what we do now. So yeah, and what else? My postpartum body, I think I'm currently 78 kilograms. My normal weight, or my weight before pregnancy, was 74 kilograms, and at the end of this pregnancy I was 86 kilograms. So I had gained 12 kilograms, and with Use I was 81 kilograms or 82 kilograms. So I had gained a total of 8 kilograms. So with Use, guys, within the first week, all of that weight was gone. I was actually quite skinny because of breastfeeding with Use. My normal weight was 74, but I think I was like 72 kilograms within the first week of having had Use. I got really skinny. I was skinny but had a big belly because I had painful gas, and yeah. So this time around, I'm currently 78 kilograms now, 10 weeks postpartum. I think I did lose a bit of the baby weight, ne? But because of lockdown, I think I gained weight because of lockdown, because I did lose some of the baby weight because of breastfeeding, and then lockdown happened, and then I gained weight. And I think I like how I I like how I look. I'm curvier. I like these new curves, but the problem is that some of my clothes now don't fit, so, and I don't have money for a new wardrobe, so I don't know what this really means for me. But yeah, I think I need to try and the weight so I can be able to fit into my clothing. But I'm loving the curves that motherhood has brought me. Yeah, I think the only thing is that if my belly could like go flat, and if it was possible to lose like belly fat and then keep these curves, I would love that. But I think if I do lose weight, probably some of these curves are going to disappear. But anyway, so yeah, that is that. And definitely once I'm done having kids, I think I'm going to, no, not I think, I am going to do my boobs, because I had like really perky boobs that don't need a bra, but now because of breastfeeding and pregnancy, I've got mom boobs. So I'm definitely getting my boobs done one day, and I think with that I'm going to get a tummy tuck, because why not? And then I think the last thing that I'm going to talk about is sex after baby number 2. My husband and I did a marriage Q&A video, ne? We were talking about how Use is a cock blocker, and how she always tries to wake up or wants to wake up right when we want to worship the Lord. So after the 6-week appointment, we had sex, guys, and wow. Like it was painful. Like the first round was painful, but it was pleasurable. Like it was so good. It was so good. So it went on and on and on and on and on. And luckily that day my children were sleeping. They decided to sleep and not disturb their parents. So we had a good time. And like I know that some people experience postpartum dryness. I'm juicy. I'm very juicy. So yeah, sex has been great. When we do get the time to have sex, the sex is great. Sex is great. The sex is good. I think that is all I wanted to talk about my postpartum. Yeah. Oh, and we are actually still co-sleeping. We decided that we wouldn't take Use out of our bed, because so when we want to have sex, we actually have to come into this bedroom. So we decided that we wouldn't take Use out of our bed, because we don't want her to feel like we are chasing her away because there's now a new baby. So what I did, my helper actually told me that Use no longer wants to sleep in the cot. So I didn't buy like a new cot for the baby. The baby uses Use's cot, which luckily it can go, like the one side does go down, so it works as a co-sleeper. So we have Tlojo's cot and our bed where we sleep, Indy, my husband, and Use. I think we are planning on buying her a toddler bed, where she, like these cute ones, where she can like learn to sleep alone. And Tlojo is very independent. She sleeps by herself. She spends the whole night in the cot. And I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with having them sleep in this bedroom and I'm in the next bedroom. I think Usa's bed, like, it's just going to be a huge messenger in my bedroom with a cot, a bed, and a toddler bed. But I think I'm really not comfortable with having them sleep in here while I'm in there. So I think we are all going to sleep together in the same room until, I don't know until when, until I'm comfortable with having them move out. So basically we are co-sleeping and it works for us. I like co-sleeping because I don't have to wake up, like really wake up at night to go and feed the baby and all of that. So yeah, I think it works for me, it works for us. And also when my husband is working night shift, I get to cuddle Use. So yeah, it works. So, and another thing I think having a second baby has taught me is that I shouldn't be comparing my children. Like Utlojo is very different to Usa, guys. Utlojo is independent. And now Utlojo is one of those breastfed babies who don't pass stools every day. So, and we also used to pass about 4 or 5 diapers of stools every day. So they are very different. So it has taught me not to compare them, because I was stressed that this child is not passing as many stools as she was. This started at 7 weeks, 8 weeks. So, but it's actually normal and she's fine. So having a second baby has taught me that I shouldn't be comparing these children. Okay, I think another thing that I want to touch on before this video goes on and on and on for another hour is that with regards to your postpartum body, don't be comparing your postpartum body with the next person's postpartum body, because some people, some ladies, some women don't even carry their babies up to 40 weeks. I carried Usa up to 40 weeks one day and Tlojo 39 weeks 2 days. Some ladies give birth prematurely. So some ladies give birth at 30 weeks, and by 30 weeks, for example, 30 weeks with Usa's pregnancy, my belly was still very small, my stomach hadn't stretched much, I didn't have stretch marks and all of that. So had I given birth at 30 weeks, I wouldn't have a sagging belly or loose skin or all of that. Oh, my battery's flashing. So yeah, guys, don't compare your postpartum body to the next person's postpartum body, because also genes play a huge role. Love yourself, love your body, love your baby, give yourself time to recover, give yourself love, give yourself time. It took 9 months to make that baby, so give yourself time to go back to what you are used to. Basically, guys, that is all I wanted to talk about before my camera dies. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like it, leave me a comment. If I forgot to mention something, you can always ask me in the comments. Yeah, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Bye guys, thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, ulibala mo ba what? Jalo ungu Jehovah ophilayo.
Okay, now.